Hey everybody, let's get into some Nightreign again. I think I was trying to do one of the remembrances, Iron Eyes, and then I got distracted from that because I was playing with somebody. I was matched and somebody wanted to do Iron Eyes, so I changed. Iron Eye, beloved child of the Fellowship. I'll just say beloved child of the Fellowship. Shakespeare has infiltrated my brain. I believe you are familiar with the monster. It is clear now that his guardian had been slain long ago. It seems to have happened when the boarding house was destroyed in the Duskin Valley. There's a strong likelihood that the traitor to the Fellowship is indeed the monster. Take every precaution. He was raised by the Fellowship to be this centipedal scion he is, after all. Okay. Centipedal scion. No, there isn't an enemy that's a centipede. What was I doing? Anybody except the final boss? Yeah, that seems fine. Maybe I'm wrong and that's the final boss. No, that's the final boss, probably. Wonder if any of these are me. Hey, Night Aspect by himself. How come all of these are solos?
I can wait, but I only have so much patience. What if my sword arm rusts?
Oops.
I can wait. What if my sword arm... I was right to come here. What a deadly bunch you are. I can't wait to jump into the fray.
What is this little thing over here? Any secrets back there? Didn't look like it. 2 revenants. Are we really gonna play with 2 revenants? I've been waiting for the day that happens. All the times I played Revenant, my most played character probably. Oh my god, and they're both the black outfit, which is the really expensive one. So they've played so often that they've been able to get enough musk for that outfit. It's like 34,000. Both of them. This is going to be interesting. I wonder if there's any way to identify the spirits. Oh. Please go to my thing. Thank you. It looks like they give you a good amount of runes so as to make it worth it. Who decided to take on a bell-bearing hunter on the first night? Oh my god! Sorry for yelling. I thought that was my teammate for a second. And I ignored them. I had plenty of time to get out. I was just blanked. Okay, the first one you cannot dodge to the left. Did it again. Jump to the left. Instinct. God damn it. He's not exactly the hardest boss. He's basically Godric. After this, I'm getting my runes. Should have gone for the stamina. Ooh, black bow. Okay, Harpo it is. Okay, I think I know how to get there. I have not gone this way before. This is a different way. Neat. Whoa, this is cool. I told you not to bother. So I got my quest, my objective for Iron Eye. So I don't really care whether or not we defeat the boss, because I've already defeated them. Hey, 3 different Night Lords in a row. Dope. I should stop taking off my equipment. It's dumb. Okay, now that I got the thing, who do I give it to? Alright, back to over here. Priestess. The priestess.
I commend your efforts. Please, accept this token of thanks.
A chalice?
Now then, have you any news to report?
What was my token of thanks?
I didn't think he would make the first move. We should bide our time for now. I didn't think we should bide our time.
Okay, so with that, Iron Eye's first remembrance is complete, and therefore And I got his chalice and a cracked sealing wax. And chapter 5 and 6. And I could do his next remembrance. Okay. So chapter 5. A report written by the Iron Eye addressed to the Fellowship. Isolde, my custodian. I have picked up the trail of the traitor, the monster. He is a brother of the Fellowship. The battle is sure to be drawn out, but I shall prevail. I will send a report once the deed is done. Iron Eye. P.S. I found a sealed missive amongst my effects. In accordance with protocol, I shall open it unless advised otherwise, Master. Brother of the Fellowship. Oh boy. A blood-stained letter addressed to the Iron Eye. The scions of the Fellowship are fated to be disposed of once they play their part. Thus I had a dream, to wrest the power of the night and bend the rules which govern our realm. The scions raised would wander through an endless night, fighting on and on, a night that would never break for their sake I desired. But it is a dream most foolish. I should never have mentioned it to you. Free yourself of your misgivings and walk the path in which you believe. Ever your custodian is old. Okay, so I have done the first remembrance for everyone except Guardian? Yeah, Guardian. Maybe Recluse? No, I think I did hers. I just don't have the second one available yet. But I'm pretty sure I didn't do Guardians. And at this point, I don't know what unlocks it other than defeating the last boss. Because I've played a bunch as Guardian in pursuit of accessing the Remembrance quest. So I'm out of ideas. I might search online to see what it takes. But it said something like you just need the Night Lord fragment and nothing else. Trace of Night. Is that it? That's a really nice earring pattern. So I got a Night Shard, Blade of Night Fragment, and Trace of Night. So when I look up what it takes to have the Guardian... In fact, I'll do that right now. Alright, before you begin the quest line, a few requirements. Unlocking the journal. Did that. I feel like I have to sneeze. Unlock Revenant. I did that. Although they say that's not needed earlier in the quest line. In which case, not an issue for me because I'm not even at the beginning. Won't be able to get past chapter 8. I'm still at chapter 3. Memory fragment. So it does say that the first remembrance you can relive with the Guardian unlocks in chapter 4, as I've been expecting. And it says a single successful expedition will unlock all chapters until chapter 4. Which does track. Like, once you beat one Night Lord, you get all the chapters until chapter 4. Okay. Oh, and then it says begin the remembrance in the journal, which I don't have yet. So, did I mess up something? Maybe there's a bug at play here.
Do you need help? The round table. Perhaps the menial's exuberance.
What I need is for Guardian Let me switch to the Guardian character over here. That's the relics. I should check my relics again. It's been a while. Maybe the Guardian is the traitor. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't think it matters who I am when I talk to the other characters. But where's the priestess? Well, the Duchess is over here.
What is it? A chilling presence. Our true adversary cannot be far. The darkness, the cold, a void of purest black.
Yep. Yeah, why can't I keep Best Guardian 3? Let me try searching that. Yeah, there's somebody else who posted this problem on Reddit for Elden Ring Nightreign. Exactly the same problem. Can't get past chapter 3. So I think there is a bug, and several players must have gotten caught with it. So huh. So there's a couple things going on in here that could potentially be relevant. Apparently, if I defeat the Equilibrious Beast, I should be able to continue the Guardian's quest, which I did. But there's also something here regarding a demon merchant, which might have been something that happened. I mean, it is something that happened. And apparently I'm supposed to get the tome for 10,000 runes. Though it's not obvious that that's required. You know, the game's pretty new, so I think stuff like this maybe people haven't quite figured out.
Is play as the Guardian in an...
Of course, people have generated content videos already. Yeah, so it looks like the way it's supposed to work is all you do is you defeat one Night Lord.
There will be spoilers in the form of important questline, all of which will be covered in this guide. There will be spoilers in Elden Ring. The first thing you will need to do is play as the Guardian.
So maybe I have to defeat a Night Lord as Guardian? Is that what I'm missing? Is it possible that I have not yet defeated a Night Lord as Guardian? I wonder if this is a requirement with all the characters. I doubt it, because I don't think I've defeated a Night Lord as a Recluse. I might have, though. I might have. What we can do is we can check the records. I should add my buddies, maybe. Okay, so what I want to check is all the victory ones. Man, I've done 100 expeditions. Insane. Or no, is that I've done 88. 100 is how many they store in this list. After which point I imagine your favorites remain. So it's good that I marked the ones that I cared about as favorites. Okay, so let's go through the ones that are marked as favorites and see who I played as. I should be the first character on the list. Yeah. So Revenant, Duchess, Wilder, and above at the top I was Iron Eye and Raider. Wilder, Duchess, Revenant, Wilder, Revenant. That's it. So not only have I not beaten a Night Lord with Guardian, I haven't beaten a Night Lord with Executor or Recluse or... That's everyone. That's the three characters, right? Alright, did Wilder, Iron Eye, Duchess, Raider, Revenant. So Recluse, Executor, and Guardian I have not defeated a Night Lord with, but that was not a prohibitive thing for Recluse and Executor, whose first remembrance I've done. So it would be odd if this is specific to the Guardian, that like the, you know, defeating a Night Lord is required with the Guardian versus the other two it's not. It'd be odd. Not impossible, but it's odd. So I'm not really sure what I want to try now. Maybe just ignore it. Hey, what's this? Giant's Cradle Grail. What? When did that show up? Is that available for everyone? Pretty sure it is. Yeah, it is. Cool. I don't really feel like going through it now. I might do that off camera when I go, just kind of go over my relics. Okay. So I would really like to do the remembrance of somebody. And I don't want to just play as Guardian in futility. And there's no way I've missed anything on the map as Guardian. I'm thinking that maybe it's that thing I saw related to the bargain you have to make with that demon, which I've encountered that. I remember it well. And I did try to take a bargain of some kind, and it asked me for 15,000 runes, and I didn't have that. And this one, apparently, the tome is 10,000. I wouldn't have had that at the time. But if I know about it in advance, I can try and prioritize it. So I don't know if I have to target the Libra beast in order to get that to happen, or if it just happens randomly. Let's see what the internet can help me with this. Nightreign, Guardian Quest, Demon Tome. Oh, that's only for an objective that's part of the remembrance. That's why that was mentioned. So, you know, if I were doing his remembrance, then it would have been more obvious that I needed to do something with the demon merchant. So maybe that's my problem, is that I did that wrong. Maybe what happened was I was playing as Guardian when this happened and didn't recognize that it was a thing. That wouldn't sound right though, because every other remembrance you go into the memory and then you do matchmaking. And I definitely didn't do that for Guardian. Or maybe I'm just having really bad luck, because the memory fragments that unlock the things are random. He has 4 remembrances. I haven't even gotten the first one. Alright, so the first one, this is what happened during it. So I don't need help there. Yeah, I'm stumped. I don't know what I could do. A theory I have is that if getting the memory, like, although it's not marked as an inventory item, there's an internal mechanism for obtaining a memory that adds to the journal. And it seems like getting those might be a random thing that the game does based on what actions you take. And maybe my luck is that I've gotten the memories for the other characters by virtue of, making it to the first night, the second night, the third night, defeating Night Lords. And I've gotten all of them except for the one that unlocks the Guardian's Remembrance quest. And maybe what I need to do is to try and get memory the only way possible, which is to go and fight, target the last boss. Maybe I don't even need to win. Maybe I just need to target the night aspect. I'm going to try it. And maybe even if I fail, because it's new, it's a new thing that I've done in the game, that'll trigger the next memory fragment. And in my case, the next memory fragment will go towards the only thing left, which is Guardian's Remembrance quest. I'll play as Guardian just because. I'm not sure that part matters. And I will try my best. I don't want to let my team down. This is actually a pretty good crew. Raider and Recluse with Guardian. So Guardian can soak up hits while they do high damage. One of them close up, one of them far away. Oh boy, this world is all infested. Alright, I don't feel like thinking. Somebody else run the show. Nightrider's glaive. That's a good one. you not going to fight it? These people do a bad job of picking which things to do. Oh my god. Why did you throw down equipment? I wonder what happened to Evan. Why would you target that guy with 2 of us at level 8? It's so weird. Jesus. Yeah, Pest Threads is pretty great. This ain't working, buddy. What is going on here? Oh, he left? He left me alone to have a defeat alone? Wow. Okay, the point of this was to just... So I got a reward, see? See? That's the memory, I think. That's what I was here for. So if... Oh, still not Guardian's Remembrance. Impossible. It even said... It even said memory. I think what's happening is it's a bug. And I'm getting this credit for memory and it's going into nowhere because some check is failing that is unexpected. But that definitely said reward. And I think the rewards, are they listed in the campaigns? No, it's not. Is that something I can buy? Nope. Okay, I'm gonna have to remember that icon and look it up. I'm still confounded. For a second there, I thought it helped. Doing a campaign against a new Night Lord. It said I got what looked like the icon for a memory fragment. But there's nothing changed in the journal. And I'm pretty sure it's because there's a bug with Guardian. About something that I didn't do in the order that the game expected me to. And I got caught in the middle ground. So maybe I'll just never do the Guardian's questline. That sucks though, because like there's rewards that come with it that would be nice to have. I mean, the Guardian is probably the character that I think is the weakest. And that's a common opinion, but it's one of the common opinions out there that I agree with. And I think it's like if I were to make a tier list, strength-wise, I think it depends. I'm not as confident I could do a tier list in terms of like kind of strength of the character because they're pretty well balanced. And considering this is a team game, the roles that they play within a team are pretty nicely balanced too. And the Guardian, you can understand what they went for with this character as, you know, sword and shield or halberd and shield, but sit there and take the hits with the shield and counterattack and have like high poise and high HP and just be able to do that. And if you get the right equipment during your run, which is a caveat for a few of the characters, at least to make them as good as they should be. If you get the right equipment, like the buff to guarding, the talisman and whatever other buffs that come like with weapons or rewards, boss drops, if you get enough of those, such that he can really actually tank hits from bosses, then he can do his job properly. Even then, he's not like the biggest contributor because one, a lot of the attacks that especially bosses do are things that you just can't sit there and tank with the shield. You got to get out of the way for. They're AoE attacks, they're elemental attacks. There's things that it doesn't benefit you too much to just sit there and take. And so his really slow dodge, which compensates for his shield tanking ability, you know, makes him hard to handle in those situations. And you've really got to get those buffs because, as you saw with the Deathrite Bird, if you're under leveled, like the character falls apart. other characters, like let's say Iron Eye, for example, if you're underleveled, you won't do the damage you need, meaning it'll take you longer to get through a boss, meaning there's more risk and more dodges you have to make successfully and all that. But you can function. If this character is not properly leveled, if this character is not having the buffs and equipment that are necessary during a run, his utility as a character like completely falls apart because he does no damage whatsoever with the halberds. They're not that, like, they're the right fit moveset wise with the purpose of the character, but unless you get like really good ones and have the right buffs, you're not going to get damage output that's going to make him one of the higher hitting, harder hitting Nightfarers. So all this to say that I probably, have come to the realization that I don't really want to use him as much because it's kind of fun, but like if they made a few adjustments to Guardian to make him competitive, he could be more fun to play. And so maybe if I have to accept the fact that because of this bug, I won't be able to get the full might of the Guardian character, I just won't play him that much, and that's okay. Like, that'll be my experience with the game, and I'll watch like a YouTube video for a story or something. A little bit of a bummer, but better that this bug happened with Guardian than, like, I don't know, Wilder or somebody who I use a lot more. Yeah, the other characters, if I were to make like a tier list, I could only really do it for like my enjoyment of them or how I think they function with my experience on the types of runs that I've had. Like, how often do you get the equipment that makes them viable? Like, even Recluse, I didn't do too many runs before I figured out how to use her reasonably effectively. And in those runs, which haven't been that many compared to some of my other characters, I noticed that, like, there's a plethora of staves and sacred seals available in different venues. Like, you don't have to go to the towers. It benefits you, I think, but you get enough from the forts and the shacks and the boss drops that you can end up with the right set of magic, or a right set of magic, maybe not the perfect set of magic, but a good set of magic by the second night of your run. And the same is true for Wilder, who can really use anything. And for Duchess and Revenant, who have intelligence and faith respectively, you're going to find something for them to use, both in terms of weapon and in the invocation devices for their magic, staff or a sacred seal. You're going to find a good weapon for Iron Eye and for Raider. I guess Executor too. I haven't used them as much. And they're going to be pretty useful. Like, they might not be as useful every single run. You might, and it also depends on how deep you go into some of these special areas to seek out the best equipment. Because if you do, you're guaranteed something good. And you should be doing that, I think, for the best possible run. But it's going to work out in your favor most times. And when it does, I think all of them are useful. And if we go down the list, like Wilder, general purpose, can do a lot of damage, can be maneuverable, can survive. Good. We'll skip Guardian. Then there was a Raider, can do lots of damage. Can revive players because each hit does a lot of damage. Good. Iron Eye, Recluse, Duchess, Revenant. Like, some of those characters might be a little squishy, but if they have the right set of equipment and like are played reasonably well, they'll make it through. And they can be revived once or twice when needed by players who know what they're doing. And Guardian, the thing is, like, to do reviving, you got to maneuver around the battlefield. And Guardian, like, you got to get buffs to stamina if you want to have stamina to both, like, maneuver quickly around the battlefield and also stand there with your shield guarding. Like, I wasn't guarding, like, the whole time. I was guarding strategically when, you know, like, right when an attack is coming. And even then, strong enemies were able to break my stance by blowing through my stamina. And so, like, what are you supposed to do? And then I'm trying to sprint to revive, like, a teammate. And his dive bomb attack refreshes decently often, but not, like, as often as some of the other ultimate arts. So yeah, I think he's the one that kind of stands behind a little bit. But maybe if they recognize that and the development team, like, adjusts the character a tiny bit, he could be more viable. I'm not sure exactly what. Like, one way to go might be to make him a better version of what he's intended to be, like increase his stamina. I think his endurance might be already as scaling, but they could change the numbers that are underneath that. But yeah, maybe give him more endurance, and maybe give him like a weapon with more hyper armor or a shield. I guess the shield does all it can. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not going to worry too much about it now. I'll look up a little bit more info online and see if I can find anything about this bug. But until then, I think I'm just going to call it a night and come back at this some other time. So we got, you know, his remembrance to maybe figure out, and then the rest were on the second remembrance quest for each of them. So we'll work on that next time. See ya.